Hello. So here's your private stacks tutorial. But no, seriously, I actually kind of love them. I love, maybe not, but like strongly like. So I'm just gonna like poke around and I'll show you a few things because this is the site that I've like started using them the most on. So like most of the time, I have been like going back to classic editor sections like this. So like just code block button blocks stacked on top of each other. I know they're going to look really great on mobile because they're just going to do what they need to do. Or I use a list section for like even things like this because I want people obviously to be able to come in and like drag drop, or like I just know the spacing is always going to look good. But like that is a whole nother interface, right? So couple examples of how I think they're pretty cool. So pretty much everything on this page, or on all of the pages, has been made into a stack, and you can do like stacks on stacks. So what I have here, like this so happens to be outside of the stack, but like this, as you can see, is a stack. And let's break it up and I'll show you like what's going on. So I have inside this, that one stack, I have this stack, which is text and an image. I have a line, and then I have these two text blocks side by side. And like, oops. Oh, actually I had the header on top of this. So like it's a little crazy because you think, oh, okay, I have to, like I want to just select and group. But if you think about them not like that. So, I mean, like here with everything all just like loosey goosey, like I would never hand this over because you just, things could, are liable to go totally bananas. The other thing is, so we originally had, so the, like these, they have a ton of icons and they were all code blocks because what I need is the icon to sit next to the title like this on desktop, and then I need it to stack vertically like this on mobile. But I don't just want to do an image block because again, like clients can screw that up. It can, you know, like, do they have it fit, fill? Is it the right size? And I want to be able to control that size. And so what I've started thinking of stacks as is like predefined containers so that like the client can't screw up my layout. So what I've done in this case, oh, that's actually a code block too, is I'm like, okay, I start here. I know these need to be nestled together. And I've just, I have my own like spacing that I've like rules that I've come up with. And then I want to make sure that these are always stacked nicely here. So the beauty of this, actually, let me undo this, is that I can here have these be side by side, obviously. Here I can have them stack and go away, little code block. I can set an independent like spacing. So this is on mobile only, and I can either choose to overwrite it by sending it back to desktop, is what I guess this crazy little icon means, or I can like keep it just for mobile, and I can change like where the position is. So let me like show you. So I'm keeping these in a stack. I'm going to stack this because I want this spacing to be different. Okay. I could put this in a stack because again, I want this, and this looks kind of crazy, but it's like, okay, no. If I come in and say, instead, I want this to always be, I think I had it set to, yeah, to always be 100 pixels wide. I can then come in and also, I should have done that here, like make sure that they're always vertically aligned, like center. And the beauty of this, so it's kind of broken because I ungrouped everything, but on mobile, I can say, okay, I want these to be stacked vertically, obviously, but I still want this to only ever be 100 pixels. And I can, I just set it to hug because that's kind of like, it snaps it up to here. Fill sometimes works the same, so like it's a little bit buggy, but yeah, you can still like choose fit fill, but I've kind of found that like keeping it on fit and then setting a max width seems to be working a lot better. So now I have this, which I previously could only do with a code block because I needed the icon to be to the left, vertically centered on desktop, and left aligned and centered this way on mobile. And then I'm going to just take everything. So my stack, my line, stack, my other stack, my stack of stacks, and I'm going to make mega stack just so that I can tighten up the spacing between the line because that extra space also drives me crazy. So now I have mega stack, and on mobile, everything is just automatically going to always stay like this, like in one thing. I don't have to drag all the other blocks around. It's just like, it's just there. It just works. It's crazy. And again, I can come in and like change if I need to like change the spacing on anything. The crazy thing is you have to kind of like keep clicking in and you will eventually get there, but it's a little bit in Squarespace fashion, a little bit buggy. I wanted to also show you, let's get out of here. I'm just going to exit in case I didn't put anything back the way I wanted. So like on this reservoir, this is a page where like they still actually have some content. But what I've done here is this is the same thing. So it's a stack of this pair, my line, and then a stack of these three things. And the beauty, I think, of this one also is that I could set this. So I have this little, we repeat this element kind of a lot, kind of like a little sidebar tip thing. I've set that to a max width of 400. I could set it to whatever. So we could make it narrower. That would help us see it better. And then the spacing is for the groups that are left over. So like if you have things you're trying to put into columns in Classic Editor, obviously you're limited to the grid that you have to snap to. So like things have to be divisible into like 3 columns works, 4 columns, 5. Like there's a point where it just doesn't work because you just can't fit your content. You could have as much content as you want across here and it's going to just work because it will just scale it down. And then on mobile, obviously, it's going to just stack nicely. Now, the other thing that I like here, so I have come soon in here because the client's still writing this. Like say she wrote this out. Let's say this one, she did not. So like that one is now empty. Obviously, like empty text box is not going to show like if we hit save, but we could go into mobile view and I could, because the space will be there, I can right click and then say hide on mobile. So in that way, a text block is almost like a spacer block. I know, it's crazy. I want to show you someplace else. So let me get out of that one, which was, I believe. I found the page that I was thinking about. So you can see that I put this into practice on this page where if you come into edit mode, you can see that like the client has room that she could write something more here. And you have to kind of like keep clicking in and you'll get to it. But what it's done is then left that space so that like it's like she has a 3 column kind of grid here for her to populate content if she has it. And if not, it's just I've hidden it on mobile and I believe it's in here somewhere. Oh, I might have to go to desktop and you can like see that I've so I've hidden it on mobile. And so like it's here, it's just not, and it's like taking up space because if I didn't have this block in here, like say this one went away, then like now I'm back to like I have to have a 2 column grid or I have to like fake a really wide space. But if I put a text block here, then it acts kind of like a spacer block. it disappears in actual edit mode, but it's a placeholder to like have her know that like she has 3 columns of content she can fill out. So, yeah, just lots of fun things. The other thing that I've been using them for a ton, well, a ton, like on 3 sites now, but that's enough for me, is footers because I hate footers. And I mean, I like footers. The design can get like kind of crazy to me. And so because I like everything to be like perfectly aligned. And again, sometimes you're fighting the grid if you're like depending on how many columns you need. And so I've just made everything a stack so that it automatically like everything's perfectly spaced. These all move together in like as a little group. And then on mobile, I can control exactly how they all stack up without having to like come in and drag everything. I can like give this its own spacing, make sure that like it actually looks good. So yeah, loving it for that reason. The other thing that I've not done a ton, but like basically come in and replicate like card image. I'm trying to think of an example. Um, that one's not a good one. So like on this section, this is a good example actually. So I have here, this is mega stack. It's got a pretty wide space between the image and the, excuse me, the text. And over here, what I have is another stack that's a stack of stacks. So it's my image and my title as a stack. And then inside that stack, I made another stack of all of these, which was this stack plus a text block plus this code block. So that again, I can control the spacing. And if I wanted to make them a different space, I would just group, put a space, like, and then group again. And then so I took this stack and glued it to this stack. And it's again, basically like, it's just basically a flex box. The one weird thing is that things will stack left to right, top to bottom. So moving from desktop to mobile, you don't have the same option. I can't figure it out yet. To like have the image display on top like you would in a classic section, or if you were to do like an image card. But I mean, this is not a deal breaker to me. To be able to get this perfectly spaced, and then to also, regardless of what the client writes in here, I now have this centered vertically, or you could do bottom, you do you, go crazy. So yeah, lots of, you're basically, it's just a flex box. That's all it is. Yeah, so this is my long video for you on stacks. Have fun.